Hey everybody, welcome back to this old trike. I wasn't going to do a video on what I'm about to do a video on, but I've decided, you know what, this is taking up my time. Let's do it. Somebody might benefit from this. I'm watching a seagull fly by. It's not 100% trike related, but it is in a way trike related, so we're gonna spin it in that direction. This is how to fix the radiator on your Kioti CK2610 after you've punctured, and well, you didn't puncture it, you broke it because you've been working pretty aggressively cleaning up a woodlot. So let me show you what the problem is. Okay, here's the background on what the problem is. You know, hypothetically speaking, you've just had about 2 acres worth of trees cut and removed from your property, and you're left with this, only a lot more than this. You're left with that like shin deep all over the property. So hypothetically speaking, you borrowed a grapple from your buddy and you've been driving through your red pine grove that was planted in the mid 40s and picking up all the sticks and putting them into piles. And obviously you see I've been burning them, and it's looking a lot better than it was, but it gets pretty gnarly sometimes because sometimes it's deep, and depending on how they cut the trees, they were using feller bunchers to get in there. And somehow a stick got in. Now this is up, so this thing's on its side. This is the bottom. Somehow a stick got in here and cracked this. And I didn't notice until I started to hear a little change in my motor, and it wasn't noticeably running hot on the gauge, but it seemed hot, and like it was smoking a little bit. And I'm like, this thing's too hot. So I shut it down. I had just had an oopsie earlier where this thing went on its side. Oopsie, and I know better, and don't feel like you gotta like tell me how to drive the tractor. I know what I did, and I know what I was doing something I shouldn't have done. But anyway, I wasn't hurt. It wasn't hurt, but I wondered, did I lose coolant? So that got me looking at the cooling system, and I didn't notice this at first. First thing I noticed was it took a lot of coolant, and I was like, I must have lost a bunch of coolant. But what I didn't notice is I was pouring it in up here because I was back in the brush pile back there. I was pouring it in. I didn't notice it was running out almost as fast as I could pour it in back in the woods. So once I noticed all the pouring out, I realized, shoot, this is a bigger problem than I was thinking. And then I got looking around. I was like, what the heck happened to the fan? And I don't know. But since that thing was broken and it would sit right around here, this is pushed back a little bit, but I must have got a stick in there or something. Something happened, and I was bummed, and I'm not feeling the best. And we had just been out riding. We were just out on the mud flats, so another mud flats video was coming. I was out on this 250R, and my son Bennett was riding the 350X for the first time, so that'll be a different video, but I did capture some video of that. So I was just trying to get some stuff done before it got too dark, because it's getting dark early this time of year. Anyway, I was dead in the water after that. I let it cool down all the way so I could drive it up here, and I wasn't going to work on it. I was just annoyed. I'm like, I'm going to take it to the dealer. But this grapple, I've only got this grapple through the week. My buddy Derek has so graciously loaned it to me, and if I got to take this to the dealer to get fixed, I ain't going to be using the grapple anymore. So I did some Googling. I read about a guy who extracted his radiator just like I did. Moved all the 10mm bolts on the shroud. This thing is fixed. I moved this back. I undid all the hoses. It's about this many bolts to get it out. I took off the air cleaner, extracted it, diagnosed the problem, which Kioti, I will say, you could have done a lot better. He could have molded in a gusset or 3. He could have protected this more. Kind of a weak design. But what I'm going to do is get my hot staple gun out, which I already have, and I'm going to strengthen that with some hot staples, and then I might use my soldering tool and melt a little of that back in for strength, and then I might wad the black RTV to it and hopefully get a good seal. I've already wiped it with alcohol, but now I've got my greasy fingers in there and did more. But that's what we're gonna do. So I'll keep you updated, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, I've put a couple in. There's not really a lot I can do. These were a right angle and a right angle and a squiggle. And now I'm gonna goop the black RTV all around that and hope for the best. And I'll get you a video on that afterwards. All right, we have wadded a healthy amount of black RTV gasket sealer all around that. You might ask, why are you doing this? Why don't you just get a new radiator? Come on, don't be cheap. These things are $600. $600. And again, I've only got the grapple for the rest of the week. So if I can get this back and operational by tomorrow, because I'm thinking that's got to set up, should leave it overnight, and that will give me time to hopefully go to my dealer and get a new fan blade. I mean, I could probably run it like that, but now it's out of balance and it's not blowing as much air as it should. And it's compromised, so we don't want to run it and do more damage. But yeah, this saves us at least $600. I think the fan, I looked them up, they're like $50. And saves us the time. Time is money, and that's the biggest thing. So I guess we're going to have to pause this until that RTV sets up. Okay, it is now Tuesday. I didn't feel well Sunday, but I was doing this repair and I didn't feel well yesterday, so I didn't put it back in. But let me show you what our repair looks like. So our hot staple repair is holding. It's pretty solid. Can move it a little bit, but the RTV is nice and secure. Allison and I tested this yesterday, put some water in there, and it was not leaking, so I feel good about it. I was not able to get a new set of fan blades in time, so I'm going to run that. And right or wrong, that's what I'm going to do. If it's wrong, I'll let you know if it causes problems, but I think it'll probably be okay. I don't think there's clearance to swap that out with the radiator in place, so that might just stay that way until a later date. How later, I don't know, but let's get it put back in. Okay, it's seriously less than 10 minutes later, like maybe 5 minutes, and it's not fully bolted in yet, but I want to do a test to see if I'm leaking or not. So we'll do this on camera. All right, so we were leaking profusely down around here because the crack was right behind there. So let's see. Looking good. It would appear that it's not leaking. So now I feel good about bolting up the rest of the shroud, and we'll see if it leaks any at all while we do this. But based on this, I feel good. Well, she's back in. I did a little test run. I burped it. She seems to be full now. No evidence of any liquid down here. So, time to test it out. Let's move some sticks. Here we go. Rocking out. This is a separate section of trees I have thinned out. Moving it back to our wood lot. Temperature is holding steady right there, just under halfway. No weird noises. Doesn't smell hot. You know, you get that smell. So we're gonna call this a victory. It's getting a little dark here. 5:45. We get ready for winter. Thanks for watching. We're gonna call this a victory. We are gonna have to get in there and replace that fan blade. We'll do that later. If you enjoyed this, don't count on much tractor content going forward, but if you're here for the three-wheeler content, you're in the right place. Catch you later.